Okay, this is Joe Leigh here for Seconds Out. Really excited to be joined by Neil Marsh. There's been a lot going on in the world of boxing over the last week, announcements wise. And Neil, you've been at the heart of it all. How are you doing? How busy have you been?
Too busy. Yeah, it's not a bad problem, mate. So it's been a very busy time, especially with the Crawford one. We had to get that done super quick. We've got lives as well, mate, outside boxing and family commitments and different things. And I had a new place I was moving in and just different things. It's been a busy period to say the least, pal.
Yeah, so of course the two announcements we're talking about, as you just alluded to there, Terrence Crawford versus David Avanesyan and Zach Parker versus John Ryder at the O2 towards the end of next month as well. We'll start with Crawford versus Avanesyan. Where did that start? Where did the talk start? And where did they come from?
They come out the blue, pal. I'd like to say I've flown around the world like I have done it past, like get the Mosley fight and digging with a spade and different things, but this just came out the blue very, very quickly. I got an approach. Respectfully, I put them on to Frank to agree the principal terms, the purses, different things. We had discussions. And I played quite a part in the Crawford one, to be fair. I've had lots of conversations with the Americans. Been very easy to deal with, very clean, very no malice. It was, they didn't tell me anything, but I think they're having problems getting the Spence fight over the line.
Yeah.
Terrence wants a fight. So we're the beneficiaries. They've just, it's, do you want this fight? This is the amount. Obviously, we negotiate and we do amendments to the contract, what they want us to sign. And but luckily, I've got Frank's team who are outstanding. I've added bits, made a couple of changes, but we all work very fast and we got it over the line, mate. So fantastic.
Yeah, it's extremely important with a fight like this that obviously it gets signed, because David's been looking for a big night like this for a little while now.
Yeah, 100%, mate. There's no one in the world of boxing more deserving. I think we can all agree that. He's got the world title fight. There's tens upon tens of 147 welterweights waiting for that world title fight, and there's no one getting him because Spence has most of the belts. He's got his heart set on Crawford. Lots of politics, mandatories coming out his ass. And we're the lucky one, mate. We've got in there, but hard work normally generates a bit of luck now and again. So, that's where we are.
Why don't you think the Spence fight is happening at this moment?
I don't know. Listen, Crawford's people ain't going to tell us things like that. We was worried that potentially that we'd be messed around, which we highlighted to the Americans. They assured us differently and they backed it up with a quick contract. They just said they're moving on. That's it. And I can imagine Al Haymon protecting Spence. He'll be driving an hard bargain. A little bit like Fury and Joshua. You've got two sides absolutely pulling each other apart. And it's not easy, mate, but it's a different situation with David. We're a voluntary challenger. We've got a different mindset than someone who's a pay-per-view star ourselves, etc., etc. We've got to show a bit of gratefulness. That doesn't mean we give them too much away. We work hard, we cement the contract, and we provide the kid with the opportunity, and that's what we've done.
How far are we from, or what's the date and the venue? How far are we from knowing that?
No, the date's the 10th of December. And I think it's the CHI in Omar Arena. It's confirmed. It was confirmed. It was confirmed on the contract, mate, straight away.
Okay, just double checking because sometimes you hear multiple dates. But the 10th of December is where it's happening, or when it's happening, and it's going to be a massive fight for David. How do you obviously see it going down in terms of David's skill set?
Listen, there's been bigger upsets have happened. This David Avanesyan isn't one what lost 4 years ago. This is a lad who's massively improved. I said after the Josh Kelly fight, I had not a disagreement with Barry Jones and I think it was Andy Clark or something. I can't remember who saying I said, it takes 4 years to develop a fighter from scratch to world class. He said, you don't get 4 years, which I agree. But, you know, for me, David's had 4 years from competing at world level to improve his skill set. And Carl Greaves has done a tremendous job. And he's brought out that body shot in him and different things. And, you know, Terrence Crawford has selected us for a reason. I think Terrence fancies it. And I don't think he's overlooking him. You don't get to his level overlooking people. But I just think he's maybe misjudged his ability. And Terrence Crawford should win the fight. We know that. But we're a fighting team. And when you've got an opportunity like this, what our kid can change his life, there's probably very few fighters that have instead of David with regards grabbing that opportunity. A few years ago, like I said, 5 years ago, he didn't take his chances, but now he will. And anything can happen. It's a boxing ring. He's now got full world-class power. He's now a full-class welterweight. We're underdog for a reason. You know, Crawford's a pound-for-pound star and we're not. But David's gritty. He's determined. He's gonna give everything for this fight. And if he does overlook us, mate, it's a soon leveler, because after a few rounds with David, you're going to know you're in a fight. So we're not writing anything off, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to outbox him and we're going to snatch his belt. But we are really, really, really going to throw the kitchen sink at Terrence and hopefully test his chin a bit more than it has done in the past.
Yeah, I spoke to Carl the other day and he mentioned how there was frustration, people saying he's turned down a fight with Virgil Ortiz. But Carl was saying exactly this. Why would he turn such a big fight down? And it's obviously come true. He's accepted a fight with an even bigger and better name in Terrence Crawford.
Listen, you know, rival promoters, rival teams are good at muddying the waters. And Eddie's been very vocal about it. My opinion is he's full of shit. That's it. It's like, you know, we think about this. I had a chat with Carl. I had a chat with David, and I flies to Mexico City before Christmas and spends not £1,000. You can imagine how much a week in Mexico City with a decent flight and different things cost, because we wanted that fight. So when we get it, Virgil Ortiz, like I put on Twitter to his fool of a manager, that Milligan, saying we run off, and he put a tweet out saying the same day, you know, we was on an high, and he deflated me by saying, we'll never fight you. We're fighting Crawford, Spence, Garcia, etc. And so anyway, then I tried lobbying to the WBC saying they've no intention. Nothing got done. They then announced, I think it was a WBA eliminator, which he pulled out with the injury, the stomach injury. I forget what it is. Mm-hmm. So, you know, respectfully, fair enough. So we cracked on with the Mets fight. And no, we'd done Liam Taylor before Virgil, but we did the Mets fight. Because David, this last few years, been starved. You know, if Eddie had done his job right, we wouldn't have been in that position. It's like he hadn't fought. He'd fought twice in 2.5 years. You know, it's wrong. And we was ready. David's a model pro. So I know we've had a bit of stick over fights, Mets and Liam Taylor. And Liam's not a bad kid, by the way. It's just that David was a level above and delivered. But with regards to the Ortiz fight, they then come back on and they said, right, we're ready. Come on, let's go. Well, okay, but a war's just kicked off. You know, we had been under the Russian banner. We know the politics with Russian, but David is Armenian. You know, he's living in Russia, but he is Armenian. So we've had to prove ourselves. But at the same time, they've gone and put a low ball offer in, because I believe, and I'm not going to start outing people, I believe other promoters were saying, oh, he's got a Russian passport, So they tried to steal our position with a quick offer to Frank, a low offer. Frank said it's not enough. I'm not accepting that. They said bullshit, like we had the contract. I've said it at the time. Send me one email what shows me receiving a contract. Anybody in the world of boxing. The truth always comes out, Joe. Always comes out. And it's hurt my feelings, mate, because everybody knows what David is. He's been Bilbao twice. He's been Barcelona. He's been America 3 times. And he's bothered about fighting Virgil Ortiz or Conor Benn or someone like that. Come on, man. You know, he's just... so people were just having a dig. And I just kept my mouth shut. I thought, fuck it. You know, the truth will come out. And now's the time to speak. It's like you're accusing us of not wanting to fight Ortiz, but we'll fight Terrence Crawford in a contract that took 36 hours to sign. You know, think about that. It's like, David, do you want to fight? He went, oh, my friend, you Santa Claus, let's go. I can't believe, you know, listen, don't call me fighter. Don't slag me fighter off. That Rick Milligan's a fool. He put a tweet out. I used to be a manager at your level, and if you need any help, well, I just give it him back. I said, if by the looks of it, your tweet over this last year about fighting these names, you need a bit of help if you're going to eat humble pie. Because he did an article saying that we run off and all this lot, and the WBC sent an email warning us of our conduct on social media and said, keep quiet. So I couldn't say anything. I had my handcuffs on my hand. So I shut up. I couldn't say anything. And it was like, you know, people say what they want to muddy the waters. But the fact is, he's just Judge David, December the 10th. He's going to not only America, he's going to Terrence's hometown. And he's going to fight Pound, who I believe is the pound for pound best fighter in the world. I think he beats Errol Spence. So, you know, just don't question David's integrity. I just hope that the WBC, who I've got a lot of respect for, had have ordered, once the negotiations broke down, I just wish they'd have ordered Ortiz and David in a final eliminator at the time. But, you know, good luck comes to those who's correct. They're still struggling for a big fight, and we've got one. So things happen for the better, mate.
Yeah, and with the date, as I mentioned a moment ago, I'm 90% sure that the Spence fight was potentially going to be December 10th as well. So you just said 36 hours for the contract to be signed. The date and everything like that was just a yes straight away.
Yeah, because we was already in training for Miguez. So David was in camp in the UK. So it wasn't like, you know, 6 weeks, 7 weeks is enough anyway. But it was like we was ready, we was fit, we was everything. So it isn't, you know, it's David, do you want to? I can only present these opportunities, but David jumped through sky for Getty. So, you know, it's like, it's easy. Like everything comes out, mate. Like we have people muddying the waters and, you know, saying this and saying that and saying this. But, you know, I mentioned a few things about Eddie. And the reason I say it is because he's always banging the drum about Alexis Rocha. He offered us a meaningless fight where you wanted us to give us your European title, and then you wanted us wait 2 months before the kid had his fight back. And, you know, it's all right. It's like Eddie speaks a little teeny bit, but forgets all the important stuff underneath. And there'll never, ever be a contradictory video out there where I've said one thing, then I say another. But if you look at Eddie, there's hundreds of them. And it's like, because we're a good, honest team, we speak the truth all the time. David Avanesyan hasn't. We rejected Alexis Rocha because we lost trust in Eddie. We didn't trust him. In 2 fights in 2 years. And then he tried to steal our European title off us. Well, you're not getting it. We'll go our own way. You know, so honestly, I just say to the public, just look at the facts and the truth at all times. Don't you know, some of these media outlets who put things out, there's always preempted speeches. I haven't said anything to you like, ask me this, ask me that, ask me what you want, I'll tell you the truth. And no one will ever trip me up, because all I do is speak the truth. And David's a world-class fighter. We were desperate for an opportunity, but we'd gone from inactive for 2.5 years to 2 fights very quickly, Taylor and Metz, to getting ordered a final eliminator, which fell through because of politics. And then we've got Terrence Crawford. I'd say that's a tremendous year. And I think Eddie got a bit of egg on his face fight week of Conor saying, oh, look at Avanesyan's career. I had a dig at us, thinking Neil Marsh will come out and generate a little bit more, 1% more, 0.5% more interest in the Conor Ben fight, saying that his career's stalled. Eddie, it's not stalled, pal. You stalled us. He stalled our career. Our career has shot through the roof. We earned as much money in the first 4 months since we left than we did in 2.5 years with Eddie. We get to final eliminator, now we've got Terrence Crawford. So now's the time Neil speaks, when we've delivered. So it's, you know, the proof's in the pudding, and that's where we are, mate.
Well, fair enough. We obviously have another massive fight to talk about. And this one almost, for me, and I think for most boxing fans, came out of the blue as well. Zach Parker, John Ryder, it's a great fight, though. It makes sense now it's being made. And how did this one come about?
You know, I'll always accept when I've played a small part or a big part, but I played no part in John Ryder.
Okay.
Frank Warren Liverday, he gave us the perfect fight in the home corner on an home show. And obviously, we all know the politics with Boo Boo Andrade pulling out and messing us about.
Yeah.
John Ryder was the next available contender, and we approached him. I think an approach went in. I think he actually replied to me on Twitter or replied to Zach saying, I'll do what my team. But I think he were being messed about with the Mungaya fight. And then when we've gone back to him after Andrade pulled out again, he's accepted it. I played no part. I'm very grateful to Queensberry Promotions. They've given us a fantastic fight. And like I said, he delivered who I think is the perfect opponent for Zach Parker. The only part I played is on Conor Benn news breaking with all the doping, etc. accusations. We just made sure that there was a additional clause in the contract that any breaches or adverse findings, then we have a say with what happens, because you know, if John Ryder tested positive, we'd be booting him out that fight. But listen, I don't want to speak bad of John. We requested certain things and he accepted it straight away. And he accepted the VADA, he accepted the thing. So I've got to take him on face value. I can't look at the gym badly. I've got nothing to say bad about the gym. But as a manager, I'm just doing my job right for my fighter going against the gym, what has lost one of its fighters. But like I said, nothing against John. He's accepted all the enrolment, etc. But let me tell you something. If something like the Conor Benn situation happened with us, we'd be looking to replace the opponent immediately. That's it. Full stop.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting to know you've looked into it, obviously, because it has to happen, I suppose. And it's good that John's accepted, though. How do you see the clash of styles playing out? Obviously,
He's made for Zach. Where, you know, John's not Dimitri Andrade style, and I'm not going to give away our tactics with John and different things, but you know, he's better suited to Zach than Andrade was. Even though we was happy with the Andrade fight, if you had a toss up, we'd prefer John Ryder every day of the week. And like I said, we've selected John. We wanted him. It was either him or Belanga and other people in the ratings, and we just said we'll fight anyone. Just we'll fight anyone. Zach said to me, fight anyone. I just want a big fight, and that's it. So, you know, we're confident Zach beats any of them anyway. So, you know, I think Zach will get John out where others haven't. I think he's suited more for Zach. I think Zach hits too hard. I think other people have overlooked him a little bit and got caught into things. And John has his strengths, but we're fully aware of it all. Like, they'll know our strengths, but I just feel that Zach Parker's a world-class fighter and he's ready to arrive on the world scene.
Yeah, it's probably deserved as well, because to be told and preparing for a fight at your boyhood club, so then that being ripped away from you,
it's heartbreaking.
Devastating.
It's heartbreaking, mate. It's heartbreaking. But when that happened, we strengthened our position for the next time. You know, you know, once that happens first time, then our position strengthened, because, you know, any sanctioning body, if they see people pulling out all the time, they're not going to allow it forever, mate. You know, and Frank's fought really hard for us, so hence why we're in this position.
Okay, well, it's been good to get your insight on these two big fights coming up, and I'm looking forward to seeing the outcome. I know it's been a busy week, so thanks for your time, Neil. Appreciate it.
Take care, mate, and good luck.